I've been fat for the majority of my life, struggled with food, confidence, and I thought I was born that way and thought I could do nothing to change that. But despite all this, I've managed to get into the shape of my life, all because I stopped making these 5 mistakes that I'm going to run through in this video. But before I go into the mistakes, I want to make one thing crystal clear. You are going to make mistakes as much as everyone tells you, oh, avoid doing this, avoid doing that. You don't want to make any mistakes. If you make no mistakes, then you, my friend, are not human. Everyone makes mistakes. I still make mistakes. I'm not prone to not making mistakes. I just don't make the same mistakes over and over again, because if you don't make mistakes, then guess what? You never learn from them and you never get better. That's how you get better. That's how you learn, is you make the mistake and then you don't make that same mistake over and over again. And the first mistake that I made was getting in shape on a pedestal. I used to look up to it and going, oh, I really, really want this. I really, really want this. I'm desperate to get this. I'll do anything. Extra cardio, lower the calories really low. Oh, I'm so desperate, so desperate. You put it on the pedestal. And then what then happens? You put a force on that. You put a force, and it's the exact same force when you're talking to a girl. You want. You chase. What happens? She disappears. I know it's happened to you. It's happened to me. It's the exact same with getting in shape. If you put it on that pedestal and that is the thing that I want. You're basically pulling that elastic band. You're pulling the elastic band, pull, and then life is going to snap you straight back in the face. Bang. You're straight back to square one. And that is when a lot of people will self-sabotage. I did it. Things are going really, really well, or things aren't going too well. You then punish yourself or do something else to try and make up for it and try and get you into shape and just force your way to it. And I did that and it worked, but I was never able to sustain it. Staying in shape meant I had to go harder, and I couldn't just kind of pull back and relax and sit at a decent body fat percentage. I then ballooned my way back up because the elastic band came back and smacked me straight in the face. Instead, what I did when there were setbacks, when things were going well, I didn't think, stress, on the pedestal. What I did was I just thought, not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Whatever happens, setback, either way, I'm going to be fine. You start to lose fat effortlessly, you start to get in shape effortlessly. Because if you looked at your life and thought, oh, what certain things are going well? What things are going well in my life right now? It's usually things you're not putting pressure on. Like for me, building muscle was easy. I really found it easy to pack on size. I didn't put any pressure on it. I just went into the gym and lifted weights. And then I thought, oh, but I can't lose fat very, very easily. It's because I'm putting pressure on it. And what happens when you put pressure on it? You're forcing it away from yourself. It's an act of desperation. So instead, just think it's basically already happened. It's no big deal. When things are going well, when you do get into shape, it's no big deal. Because what people do is when they get into shape, they think, oh, I've made it. I don't have to do anything else. And then they end up losing it just as quick as they actually probably quicker than they actually got it. So just act like it's not a big deal. Any setback, it's not a big deal. Anything's going well, not a big deal. And you'll find you'll actually enjoy life more that way. And the second mistake I made was not tracking everything that I was eating. I was loosely tracking. I'd be tracking most of the things, but then here and there, I wouldn't track certain things like oils or sauces, or a little bit extra went on. I went, oh, that's fine. And just left it like that. They are small and minute, but they do add up over time. And the reason why this is bad is because let's just say you don't track an oil, you don't track a sauce, and it's like 30 to 50 calories in that. You might think, oh, 30 to 50 calories, that's absolutely nothing. But if you do that on every single meal you have in the day, 150, 200 calories, these calories then add up, and then they add up over time. And then if you've not tracked 200 calories per day that's like 1,400 calories across the week that you haven't tracked, where you could have been in a 1,400 calorie deficit and you could have lost weight off that. So I'm not a big fan of tracking completely everything all of the time, all year round. I think you need to go through periods, but if you are genuinely looking to get lean, to lose fat and not leave your results down to chance, then for a certain period of time, whether it's 8-10 weeks, track everything that you eat. It's a sure way to not leave your results down to chance. And the next mistake that I made was cutting calories way too low, way too quick. So when I first started, I just thought I just needed to shift weight here. I was 95 kilos. I went down to 82 kilos in the space of 8 weeks. I know, very, very extreme, but that was the main reason for that was because I was eating 1,500 calories a day from the off. Bearing in mind, I was probably eating 3,000 plus to get up to around 95 kilo. I was in a pretty steep deficit and I lost a lot of weight and I saw a lot of progress, and a lot of people looked at that and thought, that's just the way to go. What then happens is once I got down to 1500, I couldn't go any lower. My body then adapted to that. That's why I couldn't go any longer than 8 weeks, was because my body adapted and I had to then eat less, and I was never going to eat less because 1500 is absolutely embarrassingly low for a guy. And what happened was I ran into metabolic adaptation where my body started to really slow down. It started to not burn as many calories. I wasn't moving as much, and I ended up having to bring the calories back up again because I dropped them way too low, way too quick. Instead, you want to eat the most amount of food possible to then lose weight. So around 200 to 300 calories below your maintenance is a pretty good start. But if you're looking for something a little bit more aggressive, then 500-600 calories is a good spot to probably lose around 1 kilo per week, which is a good kind of run rate to be losing weight. Not like 2.5 kilos, which is what I was doing. Another mistake that I made was not liking my diet. I absolutely hated my diet. I'll give you a run through of my diet to 1500 calories to then drop down. I fasted for the first 5 hours of the day, so I didn't have my first meal until about 12. I then had cornflakes, protein powder. I actually did enjoy that meal. It actually wasn't too bad. That was my favorite meal of the entire day. And as you can see going on, it's not going to get any better than that. I then waited a couple of hours and then had a chicken salad. I had plain chicken, lettuce, onion, and that was it. Plain, hated that meal, had to use water, juice to get that down. And then finally I had chicken and rice, plain chicken, plain rice, no seasoning, no sauce, no nothing. I absolutely hated it. I got it down here and I was that determined to drop fat, and I was that determined to get in shape that it didn't really matter what I was eating. I was just that tunnel focused, laser focused on the goal. And the reason why this is a bad thing is because ideally, when you want to get in shape, you want to stay in shape. And if you hate your diet all the time and hate the foods that you eat all the time and you don't look forward to the meals that you're eating, then how long are you actually going to be consistent with that? Because when the calories then go up, it doesn't mean that's, oh, the wheels are off. You can go and eat whatever you want. That isn't really the way it works. You are still going to be in around a maintenance phase and you're still going to be eating similar foods to what you are eating when you're in a deficit. And it didn't really clock in my head that that was going to be the case. And then when I got to the end of the diet, I went, I'm going to have to do this for the rest of my life, aren't I? And I was hating my meals. I was eating more of the foods that I didn't like and cooked the way they were cooked. It was not a fun time. Ideally, you do want fitness to complement your life, not complicate it. And if you're constantly going day to day, eating meals, you can do it for a short term, where you can go, oh, I don't like this meal every single day. It's just not possible at all. Make sure you enjoy your meals. I know a lot of people go, eating healthy foods not enjoyable. You can make healthy eating enjoyable. You can season it in a different way. You can cook it in a different way to make it a little bit more enjoyable. You can add low calorie sauces to them as well. That's actually what I do. I wouldn't say I've got the most exotic diet in the world now. It's still pretty plain. I still have pretty plain foods, but I'll put a bit of sriracha sauce, low calorie sriracha sauce on it to make it taste a little bit better as well. And I look forward to every single meal that I have. I don't even call it a diet anymore. People I talk to in the DMs on Instagram, they get really, really weirded out by how excited I get through food when I post food on my story, when they're replying to me, and I just kind of go, I'm getting all excited about it. I genuinely love my diet, and that's why I'm able to stay in shape year round, because I'm eating good, healthy, single ingredient foods, but I'm also making it enjoyable. I'm making it enjoyable, and that means I'm going to be able to stick to it long term. And the last mistake that I made, and I made this mistake quite a lot of times, was spending too long in a deficit. I was dieting for 5-6 months at a time, and the energy was getting completely drained out of me. The longer you go on with a diet, the more chance you got running into metabolic adaptation that I mentioned earlier in the video, where your body really starts to slow down because your body does not want to be in a deficit. It doesn't want to be losing fat. I don't like the word survival mode, but once you go on for 5-6 months at a time, if you keep going on in a deficit, you're going to die. If you continue to lose weight, you're going to be absolutely nothing and you're going to be dead. This is the bad thing. Obviously, it's a bad thing. Being dead is definitely a bad thing. There are other things that happen when you cut for too long. One, you're much higher risk of losing your strength. That's exactly what I did. I cut for 5 to 6 months. I got really, really lean. My strength plummeted because I was in it for too long. It's not enjoyable, is it? You can't live your life constantly cutting. You can't go out and enjoy yourself. My thesis and behind it is going aggressive, not too aggressive, but I'd say around 0.8 to 1 kilos per week is a good kind of spot for like 12 weeks. If you are someone that is a little bit bigger, like myself, like I was, then 12 weeks probably isn't going to be enough to get the fat off that you want. You'll do exactly what we did with my client here, who's now down over 25 kilo, is we went for 12 weeks, aggressive 12 weeks, and then we reversed him back up for 8 weeks, got himself back energy, the strength was back flying in the gym, his body was in a good spot, his hormones were all regulated and everything was in a really good spot, and then we can then go again. And we've done that for the past 6 to 8 months. And he's now down over 25 kilos without having to completely crash diet, without having to constantly be in a deficit. He's been up and down out of the deficit. He's been able to build muscle, build strength, and also drop a load of fat at the exact same time. And what happens when you go for too long is you pull that elastic band, that force way too far back. Calories are really, really low. Cardio is really, really high. You pull, and then it snaps back, and then you end up in that vicious cycle of kind of binge, restrict kind of cycle. I've been in it. It's absolutely horrible to be in, and I would avoid it at all costs. So you want to be in a deficit for around 12 to 14 weeks, and then you want to reverse out for 8 weeks. Then you can go for another aggressive fat loss phase for the next 12 to 14 weeks, and rinse and repeat that until you're at a body fat percentage that you genuinely like. So to summarize, don't put getting in shape on a pedestal. When you are just looking to lose weight and you just want to see results, make sure you're tracking absolutely everything. Sources, oils, anything, nothing's too excessive, because 50 to 100 calories per day adds up over time. The next one, don't cut your calories too low too quick. Eat the most amount of food possible and still lose weight, so then you've got wiggle room to then drop down. Next one, love your diet. Love the foods that you eat every single day to make it sustainable and make you actually want to wake up in the morning and look forward to the meals that you are eating. And finally, don't spend too long in a deficit. 12 to 14 weeks is more than enough, and then you can reverse your way back out and then go again when your body is in a much better position to do so. But yes, thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you did find it useful. If you're new here, please click like, click subscribe. We just hit 1K subs. Absolutely over the moon with that. Really, really appreciate it. Very, very grateful for it. But yes, that will help push this video out to so many more people. Drop in the comments maybe a mistake that you made and I didn't actually include it into the video. I hope you have an absolute belter of a day, my friend, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a good one.